Hello everyone, I'm Candy and this is a good buddy of mine, Doug. And in this video we're going to talk about allergies. It seems like people are allergic to everything from azaleas to zebras. No.
No, really though. I mean, just about nowadays they have, allergies for, yeah, pretty much most anything, any animal, any plant, all sorts of different foods. I mean, somebody the other day told me that they were allergic to all fruits and all vegetables. Remember when we were going canoeing?
Yeah.
And dude told us he was allergic to all produce, and so he just eats junk food and meat.
You know, when I hear allergies, I think immune system or lymphatic system. I think about the body throwing an immune response. A little bit about my history is when I was a very young girl, my dad baled hay and I was extremely allergic. My body showed them straight away. What symptoms did I have? Sneezing, itchy, watery eyes was the thing that really hindered me. Itching in my ears, itchy throat. And so this would come every year, pretty much like clockwork on September 1st. That's the opening day of dove season. So, and then the itchy, watery eyes would be so bad that I would not want to go outside. So then, when I was in 5th grade, I had my tonsils taken out. Why? Is because I had, this is so silly to me now, but I would have these bouts of tonsillitis all the time, like, often. And so here's the thing, your tonsils are part of your lymphatic system. They have a job to do. That's your first line of defense. So maybe think before you yank them out, maybe it's trying to tell you something. I would look at what you're putting in your mouth. And anyway, so my tonsils were taken out. I kept on going through things. Like then I had really bad cystic acne. There was like handfuls of things I would take over the counter. I would take Claritin D or Allegra D. D was for the decongestion. Well, then a lot of times that'd keep you up at night. But that's when I needed it, because at night is when you really get stopped up and you couldn't breathe, and you'd breathe through your mouth. So what's going on with allergies, right? So that means your cup is full. You have reached your saturation point. And whenever I transitioned my diet, and I removed obstructions and started eating foods that were complementary to the body, and moving my lymphatic system, because that's where the problem is. We're passing down generations of weak adrenals, weak kidneys. Your kidneys are your main eliminative channel for your lymphatic system. We're eating all these foods that don't eliminate well, and now we're just feeding more fungus, and the lymphatic system isn't moving. Anyway, when I got all that kind of going, I tell you what, I'm new into this too, guys, all right? 2.5 years. But even that very first fall afterwards, not one allergy symptom whatsoever.
Wow, that's pretty incredible. Yeah, so growing up I didn't really have allergies per se, but I have done some studying into allergies and have learned that it is totally just a natural response from the body when the lymphatic system becomes totally stagnant, causing a cascade of issues with communication between groups of cells. Groups of cells are also called organs or glands. And so specifically what is happening is there is a lack of communication between the thyroid, parathyroid, and thymus. These constitute the body's ability to appropriately direct white blood cells to the area, which is also called an immune response. The immune response is when white blood cells get sent to the area to basically eat the foreign protein, or whatever you want to call it, foreign virus or foreign bacteria that's being introduced in the body. So what's happening is there's a lack of communication, and so the white blood cells are basically not under control of the body. The thymus gland has a magnetic resonance field that basically stabilizes and keeps all of the white blood cells under control. But when the thymus gland is basically congested from a stagnant lymphatic system and a lack of kidney filtration, excuse me, there's bugs biting me. Then what happens is the white blood cells go to the area. They will consume whatever the body considers foreign and doesn't want, such as, what's an example of a shot or something that they tested on your back that became inflamed or itchy?
Walnuts was one of the things that they said I was allergic to. Is that what you mean? And then ragweed.
Ragweed. So yeah, the body is not recognizing this as something that's complementary. But then what happens is the white blood cells not only basically consume those foreign proteins, they'll actually start consuming the flesh and they create inflammation, itching, rash, because now they're just staying in that localized area consuming healthy tissue. It all comes down to the lymphatic system, really. And so I'd say the most powerful thing we can do is consume foods such as fruits, vegetables, juices, basically get our kidneys filtering. And the way you can tell if your kidneys are filtering is to pee in a jar, and if you see sediment in there, you know that your kidneys are filtering, because that is cellular waste that's coming out of your body. Those are the primary obstructions that are causing us to think that we have allergies to where we can't consume certain things. So what this is doing is it's draining our cup. Candy used the term, our cup is full, it reached saturation point. So this is a way we can empty that cup and get the lymphatic system draining. Watermelons are a great way to do this. Fresh lemon juice with, a couple lemons, some maple syrup. It's raw, it's very astringent. It's a great mover. Other ways, getting outside, moving our body, getting sunshine. And then it's all a matter of bringing everything into balance. That way your cells can start communicating with each other.
Cats is a common thing for people to be allergic to. I really didn't have too much reaction around them, but I used to just say I was allergic to cats. If somebody had invited me to spend the night with them and they had cats, look, I didn't cut out eating animal products for the love of animals. To be allergic to a dog, that would be a real bummer, because this little dude is the sweetest little guy ever. Dairy is a very popular thing for people to be allergic to, and when my 6-year-old was a little tot, and he would have cow's milk at the grandparents' house. I never bought cow's milk anyway. But it would aggravate his bum every time, Doug, right around his little butthole. It would get so red and rash, and it was painful, and so I would get out the coconut oil, and I'd already learned about the essential oils, and I would use melaleuca, which is tea tree oil, and some lavender, and it would get it straightened up,
Absolutely.
And then, so there was a direct relation. I can remember when he was an infant. I mean, I had not been home long with him, little baby, and I had the bad craving for some of these ice cream sandwiches, and I'm pretty sure they weren't I think they were just all the soy kind, which is no bueno. But I ate at least like 2 or 3 of them, when you really, I was going to town on them, and he got sick. I mean, like lethargic, and he puked, thank goodness. And I even called the pediatrician's office. Yeah, I mean, I remember this like it was yesterday. And I remember she saying, oh yeah, soy can be a problem. They can be allergic to soy, Well, of course, I mean, it's foreign, really. If the body looks at it as foreign, and so you're going to have an immune response.
Yep. And yeah, so there is the flip side of that. There are certain things that we just flat out shouldn't be putting in our bodies that are not complementary. But what allergies are more so an overactive immune response, where it's causing a lot of inflammation or itching or maybe a rash or lots of sneezing. Our body should be able to just basically, handle these substances and eliminate them pretty gracefully without white blood cells staying in the localized area consuming tissue. And just like with his bum, for example, coconut oil is highly anti-parasitic. Those essential oils are going to help drive the white blood cells out of the area and have them go back home in, deep into the lymphatic system,
Right.
where they like to hang out.
Yep. Think systems, not symptoms, and clean up the terrain. Because look, do we really want to think that we just have to go through the rest of our life with this hindering nuisance? Or can you overcome? And I say, yes, you can overcome. Sure you can. I mean, it might take some work, and everybody's different. I mean, like I may have different cleaning to do than Doug does, and it might take me a longer than Doug, or I might have to go over the same area a few times, right? So there are some differences there. Okay, we're going to wrap up this video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe. There's a link down below for my first book, A Beginning Guide to Regenerative Detoxification, and a list of my services. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.